Hello, everyone. Thanks for checking out this special episode of Really Dicey. This is Manny, and I am here with.
Andy Peregrine again, line developer for Dune,
Yes, and today we're going to talk about Dune, Desert Planet Adventure Compendium Volume 1.
Volume
Um,
1.
I have to say, I am impressed. Sometimes when you're excited about a project and you just want more source books to come out more and more. And I am fortunate that Modiphius has the rights to Dune. So we're getting incredible amount of content. I think when we first spoke
Yeah.
back when the core rulebook, just the core rulebook, or the starter set
Mm.
maybe was just coming out. And wow, that's been what, maybe six
It's
six
yeah,
maybe printed books, source books, and
yeah,
not including the PDFs. I'm grateful for the amount of stuff out there.
yeah.
Um,
Well, it's
so
it's nice. It does seem that generally, pretty much every time we finish a book, the question is, right, what's the next one? And we're always, sometimes you're going, can I have a little break? I've got something to. No, no. When's the next one? And it all goes to the queue because I think there's this thing, and it's a little bit of an odd thing that gamers tend to do or not do, is that with a few notable exceptions, if you stop printing a game or producing supplements for it, no matter how complete it is, people for some reason stop playing it. So, oh, if there's no new stuff coming out, I won't bother playing it anymore, which is very weird. And I go on to other things. So, and sometimes you've got these huge libraries of games. You know, one game has got like 20 books, and you think, I could be gaming with that till doomsday. But still, it's like, oh, is there nothing else coming out for that? Or, oh, I'll go into something else. So that's always a bit of a weird trait. That might have something to do with it. But we've got so much to cover. I mean, we're catching up. And there was an element with Dune, and we knew this when we started, but it was the only way to do it, that when we focus the original core book, primarily, not exclusively, of course, but primarily on Arrakis and Dune, mainly because we know not a lot of people are new. They're not going to want the whole breadth of the Imperium straight into their laps in the first core book. We need to gently wind them into it. And I know a lot of the real fans who have eagerly got the book, really the books they've been waiting for were Great Game and Power and Pawns, which bring us out into the Imperium and the Imperial Court and all that sort of thing. So it's always a tricky thing to sort of figure that balance between things, but we were always feeling that we had to catch up and get that stuff out as soon as we could. So yeah, there's been a real push, I think, on this one to get everything complete and everything there. But
mm,
still a few more to go. So we haven't stopped yet. So, and we've got a new film coming out. So it's Dune
yes,
is the thing that's happening at the moment, and it's great to be part of it at the moment as well.
yes, it doesn't look like the part two of Dune is the end. I heard, I think, an article somewhere that they're already planning a third something of installment of after this.
Yeah, I think I wish I could tell you I had tea with Denis Villeneuve 5 minutes ago, and we know little to nothing. We get sort of hit tidbits now and again. But but I think the second film takes us to the end of the first book. So of course after that you had Dune Messiah, which I suspect is an easy book to film because it's simply shorter. You haven't got so much you're trying to crush into a 2 hour film
Mm.
from a huge, expansive novel. And of course, Dune Messiah brings in the Bene Gesserit, and it's actually my favorite of the series because I love that. So I'm going to waffle on about Dune now in books rather than role playing game, but bear with me. Um, that so often you get the not really a happy end ever after at the end of Dune, but when the novel finishes, it sort of goes right there we go. He's in charge, done. But that's never really the end of the story. And Dune Messiah is that part showing you what happens with all the people who've been displaced, all the people who don't like Paul being in charge. They're not just going to say, okay, this is the new order, we're going to sit down. There is conspiracy, there is brutality, there is backstabbing, there are spies, there is so much going on because it's never over just because you've won the war. You know,
Mm.
winning the peace is so much harder. And I love that Dune Messiah it's very much a book about that. So, I'm very much looking forward to that. And hopefully the better these films do is each one has been amazing so far. And I'm really looking forward to hoping, yes, do the next one and then do another one and another one and another one. I'm very much there for all of those. So, yeah. Mm.
So, um, Dune Desert Planet Adventure Compendium Volume 1. So I guess first things first, what is this book exactly?
Well, this is a mixture of old and new. So the first thing about it was that we took four of our PDF adventures and we put them together and give them the hard copy release they deserve, basically. Now, this is always a bit of an odd product. We're not the first people to think of doing this. And but it's always odd because some games look at that and go, well, hang on, I've already bought these PDF adventures. Why would I buy your new book? And then, of course, the other way around, some gamers go, oh, well, there's some new stuff in it, but I don't want to buy it just for the new stuff because there's not enough new stuff for me, and I've already bought the PDFs. And some people get quite angry about it. Some people like it. It's a bit of a tricky product, but I know also as a writer, you always want to see your work in a physical form. There's nothing wrong with PDFs at all, but there's just something about having a book in your hands. And it was particularly good because we had, I mean, Rachel and me have had loads of stuff all over the place, but we had Mike and Steve Zaccardi, who are two of our, fans of the game, pitched me ideas. We liked the ideas. We brought them into PDF, and it's been really nice to be able to give them their stuff in hard copy and print for a book they can have on their shelves as well, because they did some really great adventures. And I think a lot of GMs like to work from a hard copy book rather than a tablet. There's still something a little bit extra about that. So, Danny came up with this and said, let's get these adventures out there, and absolutely on board with that. Doubly so because Acton Cthulhu, our other sort of World War II line with Modiphius, they'd just recently done a book where they'd collated all these adventures together and it had sold really well. So we went, well, the market's there, so let's do that with Dune. But what we also wanted to do was give you something a little bit new. And we had been toying with a few ideas of things we would do around the time of the film. One of the things that was conversation of do we do a smaller starter set or things, and some of the ideas from that are what have come into this. So we have, in addition to the adventures you already know, the four that are out there, we've given you another three beginning adventures set in this case in Arrakis on Arrakeen, and these are a sort of introductory, quite a little bit shorter than the bigger adventures in the book, and they give you a quick introduction to life on Arrakeen, the Fremen, dealing with all this sort of craziness of Arrakis. And we've also done a huge new expansion of Arrakeen as a city. We've even got a map of it in there, very vague, because you don't want to map every single street. You don't need that. You need the shadows where people can't see what's going on. But we've noted where some of the locations are, what the city looks like, which is something we really wanted to put into Sand and Dust in the first place. And this expands the city. It works as a companion to Sand and Dust. So I should say we haven't just copied loads of Sand and Dust into this one as well. This is a nice expansion, but it's not, oh, this is the bits we missed out or something. It's loads of extra little shops, places, people, all things that we use in the adventures later, but will make great moments in your campaign, great new locations you could use and go with. Mainly because I was quite entertained that in the adventure I did when we first released the game out there, Desert Fall, which was one of our first adventure releases, and it was our playtest adventure as well. I dropped into the market. I just needed three NPCs. They were going to go, and the player characters have to go and buy some water from someone. So I just wanted three different NPCs they could buy water from, just to get a bit of the feel for the market, a bit of a look at different NPCs and a bit of interaction. And I just put one of them as a Harkonnen agent. This woman is selling water, but she's also listening to gossip, and she'll want to hear what the players are up to, because she's not like a super spy. She just gets money from the Harkonnen to pass anything she hears onto them. And I've heard so many people have taken that and run with it. They've gone completely derailed the adventure for chasing the Harkonnen spy, and it's all good. So I thought, this is the stuff that people want for Dune. They want all these little bits and pieces, because they're going to go to some amazing places if we just give them little nudges they need throughout this. So this hopefully will help bring Arrakeen to life in your campaign. You've got three extra adventures to just get you into the mood if you're new to things, because again, we are remembering that a lot of new players might come into this game when they see the second movie and then go back and watch the first again and think, wow, I should check out this. Now is the time to check out this Dune RPG that I haven't seen before. So this is something you can use as a beginner's set as well. But those of you who already know the adventures, you know that these are also tried and tested adventures you can make use of. And to make a little bit more sense of them all being in the lump, originally it was a case of we had all this stuff for Arrakis, so let's put all the Arrakis adventures together. That makes sense. We'll find other ways to collate other adventures that we have that we've already that I Danny will hurt me if I discuss with you already. So, if, but we have it's volume one for a reason, though. We are thinking of doing more of these, and they will also have similar setup. And one of the things as well was to create a campaign background that links all these adventures together. So again, and to come back to other things I've done before, I'm a big fan of giving you a campaign, but also giving you separate adventures you can play, as you want to, because what our job as games designers is to do is give the GMs tools to make our work fit into their campaign. It's not for the GM to sit and go, oh, I've got to do it their way. We should be giving GMs something that they can bolt in and out and make use of and adapt and change, because that's I must admit, one of the things I really love about being a games writer is you see what other people have done with your stuff, and it's amazing. They go, to crazy places. I never would have thought of that. It was brilliant. So it's about trying to inspire people's games and fit in with what they want to do. So you can just take this on board and go with it and make your game, which is the most important thing. So hopefully all of that information, all those tools in this one will help GMs do that and put a new light on these adventures that are some of the foundational ones that we began playing the campaigns with.
Mm. That's amazing that that Modiphius is eager to collect these adventures now and put them to print. That's because I remember last year, maybe it was with someone from Star Trek, where we talked because they produce also some amazing one-shot adventures, PDF only, and I was mentioning, oh, it'd be great if it was printed one day, but at the time we weren't too sure if that was a good idea business wise. But seeing
Yeah.
that now, but if it's interested, that makes me excited, because the thing with Dune, Star Trek, properties like that, where they're very sci-fi, when you introduce them to people that aren't really into sci-fi, it could be a little tricky, to convince them to try it out. But if you, I noticed that if you do one shots, like short adventures, that I noticed in my experience entices them in, and they want to know more about not just about the game, but like the property. For example, with Star Trek, people think that Star Trek is very as a game might be dull because it's all about scientific discovery and all these things,
Mm.
and you have to just remind them that Star Trek is actually very thrilling, at times very very scary.
Yeah.
They fight some formidable enemies, and you bring that to their attention, and they become very excited about it. So I'm really excited that there's these. They look like there's 8 adventures. 4 of them, you said, they've been printed already. I believe it's I'm sorry, forgive me if I mispronounce these names.
No, that's
The Shaitan's Bargain,
yeah.
Coriolis Storm, Time is a Narrow Door, and Desert Flower. And the 4 new ones is Heat and Dust, Blood in the Water. Oh, sorry, three new ones.
Yes. 3 new
Heat,
ones.
Heat and Dust, Blood in the Water, and A Storm of Blades. Now, who are are these the same writers that worked on the previous ones? These new stories, or what do we know about these new
So
stories?
well, the new ones, they're all me. So
Oh,
it's my creative megalomania again. So those ones I did. We have another crop of stuff that Rachel, our canon editor, have done. There was some stuff we were working on beforehand, and um, and no, I had a lot of fun with these because mostly one of the adventures is letting the players go and visit the Atreides dinner party.
hmm,
So one of the things, if this is the thing I find most cool about this book, is we had and of course what I find really exciting is I've researched and tried to figure a few things out, and we've had this passed by the estate, so they're happy with what we came out with, in just a case of what is served at the meal. So for anyone who's not too much a fan of Dune, and it's famously a scene they didn't have in the Villeneuve movie, is that when the House Atreides lands on Dune and takes over, they invite all the great and the good of Arrakis to attend a meal, so they can size up the competition. and it discusses and the book shows you what the food is and what happens. And I thought, would it not be amazing if the player characters go and get to visit um, that very meal? And now you can twist, because if you are characters who are, if you've been playing House Nagara, you might be the ones hosting this particular event, so you can shift things around. But we've got some lovely amazing handouts that with like the menus and the invitations and all kinds of things that go with these adventures. Again, not just because we think they're cool, although a lot of it is because I think they're really cool, but it's also because we wanted, handouts are great to give to new players. It's so much better at a table if you, even if you just printed something out, you can say, "Here's your invitation." They go, "Ooh," something in your hands always helps people who are new to role playing and they're trying to, want to go, what picture it, what's going on, where are we? Oh, we're at dinner party. I know we're at dinner party because I've got the menu in my hand.
Mhm.
So there's a load of bits and pieces there. All of the adventures link into the locations in the Arakeen section as well. So it's one backs up the other.
Mhm.
And I don't know how much spoilage you want on the new ones, but yes, we've got a few enemies. That's the first adventure is going. Is sort of come dine with me on Arrakis. They're a lot more dangerous than the usual come dine with me. And then you meet some iconic characters. There's a rescue mission you have to do. There's also going out into the desert on behalf of someone who's a missing water shipment that a gangster has wants you to help him out with. And you figure, oh, we might make some useful contacts here, but we'll see how it goes. So there's a lot of skullduggery. There's a lot of levels of different society. You're dining with the Atreides in one adventure, and you're meeting underworld figures in dodgy gambling dens in the next. So hopefully it's something will showcase a lot of Arrakis and bring people into the setting, because
Mhm.
this is the thing we find with Dune, is like you were saying with Star Trek, that we have quite a hump to get over, because Dune's reputation is marvelous and wonderful. It's incredible science fiction thing, but a lot of people come at it with, oh, that's the big thick books that everyone tells me are complicated, and so, oh, I don't know. And we've thankfully found most people who have come to this game have gone, oh, this makes sense. Oh, and it's not as complicated as I thought. Oh, there's all these politics, and oh, there's some really cool stuff here.
Mhm.
So we find ourselves constantly trying to get people over the hump. I was just thinking recently, it's almost like Dune is kind of the Silmarillion of
Mhm.
of sci-fi. Is that, people who love The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings will still tell you, oh, Silmarillion, it's a bit of a tough bird. And then people go read it and love it, go, why did you tell me that? It was amazing. It had all the history, it had the gods fighting each other. That was incredible. So, in the same way that, anyone who's read the Silmarillion, get over to Dune, you'll love it. So it's that sort of thing.
Is the art direction different in any way? Is it similar to the previous PDFs and
No, we've used the same, effectively the same files. So we've checked them over and made sure they're as they should be. But we have basically reprinted those. There is new work that goes into the new chapters, so it's a little bit kind of old and new. But again, we didn't want to reinvent the wheel with these and go, all right, let's put new art and new things in, because the art is incredible in all of these. We've always been really pleased with what the art is. Sometimes we've had to swap where we might have reused an image in two of the adventures, so we haven't doubled anything up. But Rothio, our art director, has done some sterling work. She roots through all the files, makes sure everything's balanced, and then adds in the extra work, and has found some incredible. I mean, I don't know if you've. I think this is probably. I say this every time, but this is one of my favorite covers. I think it's just amazing with all the Fremen and the looks of them, and sand stretching out in front of you. So. But I'll be saying that for the next cover as well, because Rothio finds these amazing artists who just deliver Dune to us. It's just a complete window into the setting, and I am always blown away by what we see coming from the artists. And, that's why they don't let me see it too early, because I'll just go, "It's amazing, print it now." No, no, we've got work to do. It go away. So,
well, I will ask no more because I don't want to get into spoilery territory. Maybe that'll be a
mm,
different video one day.
mm.
Any last words about this? Anything you want to share before we wrap up?
No, I think it's a great product to just dive straight into. So if you're new to Dune and you think, oh, there's all these other books and this is the new one, I won't start with this one. It's a really good starter game for this one. So we've got a way to introduce you. But if you've already been playing your campaign for the last 2 or 3 years, you've got plenty here to dive straight into without adapting or having to change or rewrite half the adventure to make it happen. We want to make sure this worked for everyone. And again, so there's a view in this particular supplement with new people coming into it, but also we haven't forgotten the people who have been playing and supporting the line all this time so far. So hopefully a little bit of something for everyone in there as
Hmm. So is this the PDF is available now, I believe. My
well. I believe we're on pre-orders, and again, I always get confused where we are because that's Danny's prerogative, and I stay well away from all of his processes and calendars. I believe that the books, as we speak now, the books should be on their way if they're not already going out to pre-orders. They will be very soon. I think pre-orders will have their PDFs, so it should be hitting the shelves probably by the time we release this, and if not soon after, you should see it on Drive Through RPG and the like very soon. I think we actually have, yes, if you pre-order it from us, you will get the PDF right away now. I think that's all ready to go. So yes, imminently, it's on the cusp. I haven't got one. I haven't personally got one yet, which really annoys me. I don't. I want mine first. Danny usually gets a pre-copy, and he goes, "We'll have meetings on Zoom. Say, I've got my copy. Where's mine?" But no, it's there. I've seen it exists, and I know. So it is on the way and very soon. And then, of course, we are going to have more as we move towards the film. I can't say what we actually have coming out specifically then, because again, I'm told not to say too much of these things. But we absolutely, obviously, will be having another release around the time of the film because we'd be insane not to. And it's one I'm really excited about showing people. So
hmm.
yes, I really have to fight to not talk more about that one. So
Well, it's good to know there's more material coming out for
yeah,
Dune. Um, so yes, Andrew, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us about
it's
again
all my
another
pleasure.
fantastic Dune product for
Yeah,
the Dune role playing game for Modiphius. So, um, everyone out there, thank you for watching. Stay safe. I will put everything and all the links to the products in the description below. And be careful out there. Take care, everyone.